There we go, settling in. Oops, wrong glasses. Can't see a darn thing. Auga. Yeah, I dropped my phone and I went to go pick it up and the camera was on and that angle, no thank you. So here we are. Let me get myself, let's see if I don't screw this up again. There, okay, yep, a little bit more solid. Good morning, Love Bears All Gifts. Oh, that's nice. Spreading Sunshine, love it. Karen and D, user 6902444. User 8675309. That's what I'm going to call anybody who shows up and has like just one of those usernames. That's just some, I'll just call you all 8675309 because those of you in the know, right? Good morning, Oceanana. I hope it's a little bit less humid for you today, or even just not as hot. I went out for a morning walk today, first time in many days because it's been so hot here. And it was a freezing 84 degrees out. But compared to the days before, I'll take it. So good morning, everybody. I also am experimenting with, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I tried to make my morning tea into an iced tea today. We'll see how that goes. Becky, nice to see you. Now, everybody, Blonde Cheryl, all the folks. I don't want to miss anybody, so then I just kind of trail off because I never want anybody to feel left out, except for haters and jerks. We have no place for them here. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. There we go. So, good morning. There we go. Nice Oceanana. Okay, good stuff with the weather. We often talk about the weather because the weather makes our human body feel a certain way. Am I right? I'm feeling kind of humid. It was humid out, so I got a little bit of sweat on me. Sometimes when you feel too hot, like notice, and actually my husband said this last night, he's like, it's so funny because it's almost like this seems too cold, like 78 in the house seems cold when the air conditioning's on. But do we ever, like, I don't even know what we put the heat on. I really doubt we put the heat up to 78 in the winter. So it's about that contrast. Christina Glendale, nice to see you. I just saw you popping in, and Anne, very cool. I think TikTok sometimes doesn't even show me who's showing up, and I get that. But it's nice when I see the names. So good morning, my dear. It was lovely to hang out with you yesterday. You were doing such good stuff. You guys, Christina Glendale is kicking ass. She is, as are all of the Destination Declutterers, okay? Everybody in the club, because we all fam. Donna, nice to see you. So let me practice this. Yeah, Anne, and you've got your little coffee cup, and I will raise my cup of iced tea. I think it's going to stain the inside of my cup, so we're gonna work on it. Only because of you, Beth. No, not only. I am happy to be a participant in your success, but I insist and require that you please, everybody here, take credit for the work you're doing. Take credit. You are doing good stuff. I participate? Sure. Yeah, I'll take some of that, but I will not take all the accolades because what you're doing, if it was easy, everybody would do it. I know it isn't necessarily easy all the time because I've gone through it myself and I continue to go through it. All right, so here we got it. We got a person who's cluttered. Kate, I can help you out. Boston Sports Girl, nice. And thank you for the email. I saw that. Very cool. So you guys, first of all, before I even start, as I say, I jump in. My name is Beth. I'm a declutter, but more importantly, really, I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called to Destination Decluttered. Now, destination, because I talk a lot about things like travel and road trips, but I use that as just a metaphor to help you realize that there's a process behind a lot of what you can do that you maybe just not know yet. Like there's a certain dance routine, like the hustle, right? So there's a framework behind a lot of what I do, and I love to share that with you. Look at what's behind the curtain, because when you know, oh, that's what I can do, and I can apply it many places, you've learned a skill and you can use it. So Kat Roby is here, and I just want to say, hey, Kat Roby, scheduled Beth Blinders, finishing a walk, then into the office, 2 cluttered desktops after days of meetings. So notice that some people show up and they are ready to just hit the ground running. Maybe you're not feeling like you you can even do anything. So Kate is saying, you guys, Kate is saying, my life is a mess. Each room is cluttered. Kate, what I want to help you with is you are not alone. Clutter is the word that brought us all together, but love will keep us together, right? So here's what I want to offer to you. Couple of steps to take right at the very beginning of anything. Now, this may not seem initially like it has to do with decluttering, but I promise you it is. And this is why I consider myself a decluttering life coach. Because if you do not do these first two steps, everything else is going to be a lot more difficult. So what do I mean by that? The first two steps, checking in with your physical body, okay? So how are you feeling this morning, Kate? Are there any noticeable, egregious aches and pains, or are you just feeling the average fine of everyday living? If you're not feeling just kind of regular, and I mean that on many levels, do something now. Everybody play along at home with Kate. Do a scan from the top of your head down to the bottom of your toes. I use the word down a lot. And just check out, take inventory. If a part of your body is lighting up that says something's wrong here, use that as an alert and do something about it. Okay? So physical body first. Then within your is your energetic body. Now, what does that mean? It means kind of like the electricity that's going through you, your nervous system, your nerves. How are you your feelings, right? So how are you feeling right now? Now, I sense when people say, my life is a mess, that your energy is kind of like, my life is a mess, kind of like, We don't want this is not a good way to start the day. Christina and I were doing this yesterday. I don't know if I can find my little thing. I want you to think of that feeling of maybe overwhelm. My life is a mess is such a blanket overwhelm statement that it's going to stop you from doing anything. This is where the word down really comes into play. So sit down, quiet down, calm down. Pretend that you have the world above your head and you're getting overwhelmed with it, but then you grab a hold of it, right, Christina? And you say, wait a minute, I'm going to take that world and I'm just that globe, and I'm going to slowly be in control of it, and I can move it from feeling underneath the weight of the world, and I'm going to put that where I can see it, maybe below me. Maybe when I put it here, I realize it's like your driver's steering wheel. So calm down, sit down, quiet down. Drink down some water. Quiet down your environment. Calm down your nervous system, basically, but in a loving, calm way. When you quiet down and calm down, then is when you can start to do something. And another couple of downs I will offer to you, and I know this is a lot of kind of theory at first, but I want to make sure you have the framework, right? And the other two downs are going to be write down. Write down and then chunk down. Writing down whatever comes up, write it down, whether it's a list of things to do or, things anything. An unhelpful thought. My life is a mess. Is it really a mess? Or do you just have some rooms in your house that temporarily have too much stuff in it? There we go. Okay. Kate is feeling pretty good physically. Lost 58 pounds in 5 months. I'm giving you a high five. That is good stuff. That ain't easy, as many of us know, so good stuff, okay? Here's a fun thing. So sit down, calm down, write down, chunk down. Notice you've already chunked down something. What does chunk down means? It means if you've got something big that overwhelms you, cut it into smaller spots. We were doing this the other day. I'm not going to move it, but thinking about the tiles on your tile floor, like a square foot tile, a square foot and a square foot and a square foot. The tile in the entire room, an entire tiled room can be overwhelming, but if you deal with it one tile at a time, it ain't so bad to get started. Okay? This is interesting. Good morning, Erin. And Ann says, I don't know, man. I don't believe in magic or religion, but sometimes I think something else is pulling the strings. Well, you know what? And I will not, I just want to plant a seed that maybe you do kind of believe in magic. I mean, as Olivia Newton-John used to say, or Ange, as I remember somebody once calling her, we have to believe we are magic. Nothing will stand in our way. You know, you may call it magic, you may call it religion. I call it the universe. I do. I call it the universe because I get hung up on magic and religion as words. But I know I choose to believe there's something magical out there, something really interesting out there. And I think it's that human connection. I do. But yeah. So there we go. I love it. I love it. Christina's driving when the globe comes down. When you are in, yeah, and quieting your head, Kate. I'm just catching up on some of the comments as they scroll up. Quieting your head. The best way to do that once you sit down and quiet down your environment and calm down is, and everybody who knows me is going to be writing down. Whatever thoughts are noising up your head, write them down. Get that noise out of your head. Because typically the noise in your head isn't just like whoosh, 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 ooga. You know what I mean? It's not just random noises. The noise in your head is actually words. It's like maybe a party where everybody's chitter-chattering, right? And it can feel very, overwhelming. So tune into those words and then get them out of your head and write them down. Okay? And Kat Roby, yes, reminder to drink my 20 ounces of morning water. Yeah, every time I do this, I'm going to take a little sip of my own, and I'm going to see at the end of, because I'm going to be here for another 45 minutes, and then we do have a decluttering party this morning at 9 a.m. if you want to show up. People on the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. That's how you get the tickets. Okay, Carla's going to be there. Just saying. But I have this much, and I'm planning on it being less. I'm chunking it down a sip at a time. I love it. I love this too. Cat Mama asked for help. And my niece and fitness trainer got rid of my big TV by herself. Took it to the recycle for me. How awesome is that, Cat Mama? Doesn't it feel nice to be taken care of? Doesn't it feel nice to feel like I don't have to do this all alone? That somebody else can take care of me and wants to help me? Rochelle is writing in her where to go? My good experiences journal. Yeah. What's your good experiences journal? When I said writing down stuff, do a brain dump. Like if any of you, which I know you all are creative people, rough draft, get those ideas out of your head. If you keep them stuck there, you will never create anything. My husband, who is a magician, no, he's not a magician. He was the great Cliftini at one point. I have this wicked cute picture of him as a little kid. I swear, I'm going to pretend. I'll find the picture. I don't have it here, but I will share you. This is so cute. This is so cute. Check this out. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? We found this when we were decluttering. And this boy around this age, he called himself the Great Cliftini. So he has been a magician. And there's a picture of him like doing a little card trick. But he's a musician. He's a musician. And I mention that because he has ideas all the time that come to him of songs. He leaps out of bed and will go to just record something or strum something in a guitar. He doesn't keep it in him. This is how you create the life you want, the music you want, the home you want, the life you want. Okay? So I just offer to you, get the stuff out of you and get it just so you can look at it. It may not all be good ideas. Not everything's a gem, but when you get the stuff out of you can sort the wheat from the chaff, the gems from the sand, I guess. Okay? All right. Now, this is cool. Yeah, and every culture does seem to have a different name for it, but they don't deny it exists. Yeah, so I don't. I've had a huge issue with the idea of God because I grew up Catholic in the Boston area. So I have a huge issue about religion and especially Catholicism, as probably all of them. But I won't get into that myself. But just so you know where I'm coming from, I like the word the universe. It seems bigger and more kind of neutral versus patriarchal. But here we go. I love this idea. Also, Anne is offering. I've started putting my decluttering stuff on the porch and inviting people on Facebook to pay as they want. What an elegant way to get that done. What an elegant way to get that done. You know, what a cool idea. I love that. Now, Susan P. is asking, what is a decluttering party? I've begun my decluttering process this summer, 2 trips to the Goodwill so far. Awesome. So Susan P., what a decluttering party is, let me back up just a second. A lot of what I do, besides my one-on-one personal decluttering coaching package that I sell, I like to put that up there right up front. So you're not always like, oh, what's she going to try to sell me, right? No, I tell you what I do, and that's what I charge for. But other than that, I also realize that there's many ways to even plant the seed and help people declutter that may not, because the one-on-one may not fit. So I do TikTok lives and YouTube lives many times throughout the week. A lot of it is theory. A lot of it is listening and maybe writing things down or whatever, but it doesn't always give you the opportunity to put what I'm saying into practice, to try out what I'm saying and see if it works for you. A decluttering party is really an opportunity, kind of a hands-on, literally and metaphorically, but literally a hands-on opportunity to do some decluttering with me kind of there with you in case you get stuck or you need somebody to bounce an idea off of. It also is a wonderful opportunity to just practice showing up and getting into gear to get decluttering. So that's kind of the theory behind it. And the idea is that you embody some of this stuff that you do and you see that it works and it feels good. And then it will encourage you to do more decluttering, both maybe at another decluttering party, during a coach, or during a TikTok live like Kat Roby's doing, or practicing it on your own. So that's kind of the theory behind it. But the practical things are thus. They are an hour and a half long. They have a soft ending because we always socialize and stuff. It's an hour and a half long. It is on Zoom, so it's very private. You can have your camera on or camera off, microphone on, microphone off, whatever works for you. And it's whoever shows up, and we do 3 20-minute timed chunks. Now, I say timed, but I just mean a timer is on. It is not a race, but it is a reason to help you chunk down and get started with your decluttering. And the reason I say chunking down is that many of us have the unhelpful habit of thinking all or nothing, that you have to drive without stopping. And as you know from that road trip metaphor, we all got to stop and take a pee. So we schedule the stops every 20 minutes or so. We check in with each other. How did it go with you? Did that work out? Did you get stuck? What's a win? And it gives you accountability, it gives you camaraderie, and it allows you to embody what you are ideally learning from the decluttering that I teach you. Even if you're not, frankly, there are many people I know for sure that are probably showing up at a decluttering party working under the old habits that they have of decluttering. But at least the chunking down and the checking in is something that they can practice and notice the importance of doing something to get you started. So it's a scheduled party and doing something to have you show up, but then also not being afraid of slowing down and stopping and then starting up again. Now that to me always brings me back to when I learned how to drive a standard shift car, and starting and stopping and starting again was the hardest part of it all. Once you got going, you were okay. Okay? So that's what a decluttering party is. And just also, so there's one at 9 a.m. today, Eastern time. So in about 40 minutes or so. The way you get the invitation to them, wicked simple too. DestinationDecluttered.com is my website, and that's where you sign up for the group mailing list. This whole group, people on this that you are interacting with right now, many of them are on this free mailing list. And that's just my kind of channel of communication to people who say they're interested in what I do. And the info is on a secret page that you have access to only if you're in the group email. Okay? So I hope that helps. Cat Roby says, my cat Butters decided one side of the desk is for laying on the clutter. Yeah, because kitties say, don't pay attention to that. Pay it to me. Okay, yeah, and Kate is noticing, yes, I am all or nothing. I sit if I'm overwhelmed. Okay, so learning to get back up, but also learning to sit down. It helps you kind of break that unhelpful habit. Okay, so here's the thing. So this is Leslie Emma's Remind Us What Makes It Into the Good Book. Okay, now I know I have a video about this somewhere on my TikTok page, but frankly, I haven't made a lot of TikTok videos. I do these lives instead. I find they're fun. The stuff that makes the good book is the good stuff that you are making happen in your life, and the good stuff that because you're making good stuff happen in your life, good stuff happens to you. So a lot of times, I'll be really honest with you, there is a direct one-on-one correlation between these two books that I'm always kind of showing you. The kind of spiral-bound, kind of brain dump, rough draft scheduling book, and the more permanently bound, nicer, kind of more keeper copy. Typically, it's stuff that I said I would do, and I did it. So this is, if I write it here, I say I'm going to do it. When I've done it, I will often, here, let me see where's yesterday, because I have it. I will often kind of cross it off if I've done it. The things that I've crossed off, not all of them, but some of the keeper ones, those are the things I will write down. Okay? So here's a funny thing. So like, for example, Wednesday, August 21st of 2024, I did a TikTok live. I emailed to I sent out an email to the list, and I messaged and did some admin. Then I did some coaching. I also went to my book club, and I got a haircut, and I tried a new exercise class. So it's those things that remind me, this is pretty much the story of my life. And here's the great thing. I will share with you, especially from a decluttering perspective. Many of us keep souvenirs of our lives. You know, that's a lot of the stuff. This represents who I used to be. That's that Elvis Costello t-shirt. There's my, belt with the studs on them I got with my first paycheck when I took the bus into Boston and went to Newbury Comics. That type of thing, okay? But that is sometimes becomes an overwhelming amount of physical clutter. I will share with you that the last pretty much 5 years of my life, the evidence I'm keeping of my life fits into these 3 books right here. And this one, is not even, this is going to be 6 years, right? So in the idea of living light, but still saving the good stuff, the memories of what you've done, this to me is a wonderful practice to get into. And also, I just love those colors together, don't you? Oh, so that's what that good book is. It's funny because I was on my TikTok today, and Abraham Hicks is kind of I don't even know, self-help, I don't even know what you call it, but it's inspirational stuff. And they call it the book of positive attributes. Priming the pump for good stuff means more stuff will happen. Look for the good stuff, you'll find the good stuff. Okay? Hopi is asking, is the decluttering party free or charge? It is a modest fee of $20, okay? It's the modest fee of $20, and I say that, and here's another thing I think is feeling good about that, is I have decided, because I do charge for my one-on-one coaching package. That is substantially greater than $20. Yet it is a great opportunity and investment. But I will say that half of every ticket sale, and I'm going to look it up, half of the ticket price for the decluttering parties is donated to a local women's homeless shelter. Okay, now the reason I'm looking over here is because this is where my other screen is. And as of, not including the June declutter parties, but we've been doing them for 6 months now. So in 2025, anybody who has shown up for a declutter party, we have donated almost $1,600 to a local women's shelter. $10 by $10 by $10 by $10 by $10. That also helps you realize that you investing money in yourself can also help somebody else. So that's what that's all about. Now, Kate, I love the Wicked because I'm from Mass too. I live outside of Philly now, but I'm from Mass all the way, and it's just in how I talk. So nice to see you. Alrighty. Leslie shows up the party. She says the parties are great. Beth helps you get unstuck and you learn from others. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Anne is also knowing the delightful feeling of the more I declutter and give away and sell, the less I even want things. So I let go way easier. I will share with you guys. We have been finally able to set up our patio. The patio, when we are home in this time of year or any time of year, the patio is my happy place. And as we are setting up, I see a few little areas where I would like just a little something to kind of make it look a little bit better. I have gone out a number of times this week shopping for some particular items. I rarely go out shopping anymore. I used to shop to distract myself. I used to go thrifting. I used to go antiquing. I would go to garage sales. I was at Target, a couple of times a month, all that type of stuff. Oftentimes not even looking for anything I truly needed. And the neat thing is I've gone shopping 2 days this week. I have not come home. No, I stand corrected. I bought a bathing suit. You guys, trying on bathing suits, but I got one that felt good. Yay. Okay. But the things that I was looking for the patio, I didn't see what I wanted. I enjoyed looking. I hoped that I would find it, but I didn't settle. And I didn't buy things randomly because I know that that's just going to end up cluttering my home. So I love the feeling of getting out and looking around at stuff and the possibility of connecting to something that's on that wavelength of, yes, that's exactly what I want. But if it isn't of that wavelength and that also long-term wavelength, I'm okay with letting it go. Here's something, and I love it. Becky says, I love how everyone is so supportive of each other in this group. Yeah, you know what? That's how we get good stuff done. I am not going to be like, suck it up, buttercup, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and Rochelle even says, being able to shop without having to buy feels liberating. Yeah, that liberation, And Gail is bringing up a really good point. When I shop, I have a list, and I stick to it unless I see something I forgot to write down. Now, notice a list is getting the stuff out of your head and writing it down. So just like a shopping list, when you have a list of what you want to do or what you want to happen in your life, in your head, and you write it down, you can focus on it and you can help yourself get it. Now, this is borderline manifesting. It's not my manifesting manifesto, but what I want to offer to you is it will be easier for you to get what you want if you write it down because it helps you remember it. You have created a connection in your brain about that thing you want to do when you have taken the time to get it out of your head and then gotten your body involved by writing it down and reading it and maybe putting it in front of your face. Like right here, I have a couple of Post-it notes that are reminding me to spend my credit card points this year, reminding me to become a more comfortable international traveler. And some of the places I want to travel internationally, because destination decluttered, I'm always thinking travel. Okay, so use the shopping list metaphor to make it easier. Something that helps you really is making it easier for you to get done something that you want. So how can we make it easier for you? I show up in your life right now, 8:30 in the morning Eastern time on TikTok and many other days, to help make your life easier. Now, I say help because I can't do it alone. I'm here in my own house and I'm just talking to you on the phone. You're the one who will do the work, who will do the things. So I help you realize that doing the things doesn't have to hurt, can be easy. You can schedule it around your already existing things and it will feel less crappy than it has in the past. So you are more likely to show up and do it more often. And doing smaller, more often chunks, that's poorly written, but this is why it's a rough draft. Doing smaller chunks more often will make you avoid having to spend your entire beautiful Saturday of a summer in the garage or the basement cleaning out, and instead you're out having a road trip or going to the beach or something, Oh, there we go. So Amelia says, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Well, nice to see you as well. The neat thing is, if you want to know when you can specifically see me, kind of like my tour page, like if I was a musician, I had my tour page, people on the mailing list, the group mailing list people have access to the page that shows when I'm going to be around. I do put that behind, not a paywall, but I just hide it because I am really protective of my group of people, and I don't want haters and trolls coming in. So again, you want to find out when I'm doing a TikTok live or a YouTube live between now and whenever, DestinationDecluttered.com is the group mailing list. And then you're part of this cool group. Notice what I'm doing. A little bit at a time. I had that much. I've drunk a little. By the time we're done here, I may not be done. But I will be closer to done than I was when I started. Okay? So good morning. Good morning. So, folks, let's make the good use of this time. Who is struggling? Where are you stuck with your decluttering? Where's your stopping point? Where's your, as I like to say in that kind of driving metaphor, because we use these words all the time. I've run out of gas. I feel like I've got a flat tire. I'm driving in circles. It's cloudy ahead. I can't even see where I'm going. What's your roadblock? What is like a sawhorse in the road? Okay, you know when you're driving down the road and suddenly you have to stop because there is like a sawhorse. You know what I mean? Like those two things with the bar across it. Consider that a roadblock. It's temporary, but if you don't know what it is or move it, you're going to be stuck. Alrighty. So Tatiana is saying the second part is drawer decluttering. I love it. Amelia is drowning in papers. Blah, blah, blah. Here's a life raft or whatever you call it, a little dinghy. Okay. So let me back up here because we've got a few things. Anne says, Anne says, can anyone think of any reason why to keep old letters between friends in college and the military? Okay. Group, have at it. The other thing too is I'm also seeing some good stuff here. All sorts of good things. But Erin says in that road trip metaphor, I run out of gas. So notice, do you run out of gas when you're driving your car? Do you completely run out of gas, or do you monitor your gas gauge in your car? If you're monitoring your gas gauge in your car so you don't just run out of gas, monitor your gas gauge in your body. Yeah, and nobody runs out of gas kind of suddenly. You get the feelings of, you know when your gas tank is waning. You may be choosing to ignore those feelings of I'm starting to slow down, I'm getting cranky, I'm overwhelmed. So notice what it feels like when your gas tank starts to get towards empty, and stop doing what you're doing before you get to empty. I will also say this, and you know me because we've coached together. I'm a big should have been an English major, and yes, it'd be even more unemployable than a art history major. Am I right? No, trust me, the least employable. But I digress. And, where is it? Erin is saying to herself, but then I can't carve out the time or energy to restart. You know what word that really highlights that for me is can't. I can't, or I don't. I don't carve out the time. I'm thinking it's more like I don't do it. How come you can't do it? Carving out the time. Notice that feeling of like time is this thing that I need to carve it out, and I'm not taking my carving tool and saying, no, this time is mine. Okay? So I say this as an example of, and lovingly, not with judgment, but sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, wanting to help you where you're struggling, is how important it is to tune into the words that you are telling yourself, that you are believing in your head, the thoughts in your head, the words, the sentences in your head that you say and you believe, so then you act accordingly. Okay? The words in your head, really quickly, for the new folks here and for the for people, as a reminder: think crappy thoughts, feel crappy feelings, do crappy things. Or what we do here, flip those crappy thoughts, think a better thought, feel a better feeling, do a better thing. You decide what side you want to be on. Now, alrighty. So I love this, people. So a couple of things. So one of the things, old correspondence, family heirlooms, paperwork, drawer decluttering, drowning in paperwork. Okay. So a lot of these things fall under two specific categories of clutter and layers of clutter, from shallow to deep, from surface to, journey to the center of the earth. Notice where my hand goes. It's right near my heart, the feeling part of the body. You've got surface clutter, stored clutter, and sentimental clutter. So think of it that way. So stored clutter is typically what you have in a drawer. It often can be papers. And what you need to do in order to do this stored clutter is you need to see what you have, categorize it, and then by category almost, ask yourself, why am I saving this? And then listen to your answer. Again, when you ask yourself a question, listen for your answer and write it down. Write it down. Again, the words in your head are what is steering your life. And if you're not paying attention to them, you may be totally, wanting to go there, but you're heading in the direction of that way. I remember when I quit my job, I said I literally can see down the road, and if I keep on staying here, we're going to get further away from what I want to do and closer to what they want me to do. Okay? Alrighty, now Rochelle says, I feel roadblocked when I'm too busy or sick. I'm going to flip that around. When you're sick, again, remember at the very beginning, checking in with your physical body. If you are sick, it's like your car is not running smoothly. So don't expect a car that has some problems with it to run as smoothly as a healthy car. So take care of yourself as if you would your car. If your car is not running correctly, it will probably not heal itself. It may need some help taking it to the mechanic. So have you taken yourself to the doctor, or are there things you can do to make yourself feel better? But do not expect yourself to drive with the forward motivation that you would have when you're feeling good if you're feeling sick. Okay, Rochelle? So remember, we are physical, we are spirits in the material world, but our spirits are encased in this body that can feel good or bad or in between. Now, when I'm too busy, to me, I that's a good one. That is also a time thing. Where you allocate your time, where you spend your time, where you don't spend your time. And again, depending upon everybody, this is the thing about kind of group coaching. It's not one-on-one, so you know where you have the ability to spend time to declutter, and you know when you're not because you're, like in an office building somewhere, or, a flight attendant, or driving a tank somewhere that you can't declutter and work. Then it's about, what am I doing with the time I do have control over? Okay? So a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. Now Jana's saying scheduling the time is so important for me. Yeah, me too. Me too. Every day. I schedule my day from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now, lest you think that's overwhelming, look at how much blank space is in there. I have certain things that I schedule, and then I have other things that I fit in during those blanks. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, and okay, yay, Erin says, I can figure out which work, kids, family, friends to block out and take my time for the house. And I'm going to be team get those kids involved, but that's because I'm an auntie, right? Alrighty. So, I'm going to back up a little bit here because oftentimes I will share with you guys, we've got almost 100 people here, and I may not be able to ask any things. Anne was saying, can anyone think of any reasons to keep old letters between friends in college and military? There are some answers here. I hope that's helping you. But Anne, what I want to offer to you is sometimes we keep things, but you don't need to necessarily keep them forever. Maybe now is the time in your life, if they're your letters, that you reread them. You relive those memories, and then you can choose to keep them or let them go. Okay? That is also for the new folks and for folks that, just as a reminder, because repetition is really good in learning. Surface clutter, stored clutter, Old letters between friends, totally sentimental clutter, the deepest one. The one that reminds you, that triggers those feelings, that opens up that folder, that plays almost like those, again, those Hallmark cards that you open and it starts singing, celebrate good times, come on. You look at something and a folder opens in your head and plays a story. You read a letter and you are reminded of a time in your life. Okay? Now, Kimmy L says basement storage, that I want to figure out if I'll use it or not. Okay, you've got your answer right there. See, this is the thing I want to remind you guys. You guys have the answers in you. It's a matter of listening to what you say. You know, so Kimmy's going to go down the basement and look at some of her stuff to figure out if I'll use it or not. And if you think you're going to use it, I highly recommend making a plan to use it. And I've talked for years at this point about the stuff that has been in our basement that we've made it. We're going to use it. We're going to use it. Anybody remember like the era of the Instapot? Well, the Instapot is finally, happily, I think I did a video of donating it. But sometimes you think you're going to use something and then the life you live doesn't use it. If you truly want to use it, put it into action. Make a plan. Okay? Yeah. So, I love it. Roddy Pup says that what helps them, I find putting on a movie or a podcast takes away the pain of I don't want to while I do it. Yeah, how can you make it easier for you to declutter? Okay? And putting on a video or a podcast can help. So I personally like quiet. That's me, but I know other people like to put on stuff. Sometimes if I have a good podcast to listen to, I'll do that, especially when I am working on surface clutter. But I will offer to you, the podcast you should be listening to when you're dealing with stored clutter and sentimental clutter is the podcast in your head. Because it's you asking yourself, do I want this or not? What's the story? Do I want to keep this story? Do I want to remind myself of this story? Or can I let it go? Okay. Now I love it. Stored videos. Cat Mama mentioned that. So Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Literally today. Let me just check here. We have, for you, somebody was calling it the library and somebody's like, but who goes to the library? I go to the library, so I created a library. It's a free lending library, okay? After today's TikTok Live, which is recorded and then uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube, there will be 755 videos there to put on in the background while you declutter your surfaces, that you can learn something about decluttering while you also are doing the stuff. So there we go. My letters are World War II and I and II era. Could you share those stories of the letters with other people in the family? You know, think of all the stories. This is one of the things it helps me with, is think of all the stories that are lost to history because nobody saved the letters. And I mean this in a good way. If you never found those letters, would you feel like you were missing something? You can honor them and then say it's okay to let it go. Or if they are family letters, maybe you share the stories with the next generations. You know? Now I'm going to back up. Yeah, Rochelle is saying, when I decluttered the basement, some things became more clear as I went. I just had to get started. Yeah. And sometimes getting started is the hardest part, is going out to your car and turning on the key and not just sitting there, you know, wasting gas and getting in, you know, revving your engine saying, I got to do it, 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 I got to do it. It's saying, I got to do it, and then getting in gear and starting. And when you drive, you start slowly. You don't immediately go 55 miles an hour out of your driveway. I have to back up to get out of my driveway. So can you imagine? I would be in my neighbor's bushes if I went that far. So you start slowly, but you start. Yeah. You start slowly, but you just start. Okay? Yay! Laura Gibbon Voorhees back, and she says, good morning. About to go on a walk with a friend. How awesome is that? Hoping for good energy for surface declutter today. I love the word hope, but what I want to say is let's remind you of your power. What are some things you can do to increase the likelihood that you will have good energy for surface decluttering today? And personally, Going on a walk is a great thing. You're getting oxygen. You're moving your body. You're getting body moving, right? So notice this. You can do it. I am reminding you, everybody here is in the driver's seat of your own life. If you're a passenger, somebody else is driving you where they want you to go. But you're never the passenger. You may have allowed somebody else to influence where you steer your life. But as soon as you clue into that and remind yourself, wait, I have a choice here. I mean, there's that whole princess thing. Oy. You have the power. I can't do it. No, it's more like I don't want to. Or I'm so used to saying I can't, I forget that I can. Oh, this is funny. My ice has melted in my iced tea. I don't know how much I'll get done, but it's hydrating. Now, Rochelle says, do I want to keep this story is a good mantra? It's an amazing mantra. Everything that you look at in your home tells you a story. From I bought that lampshade somewhere to I need to buy more pencils to something. If you tune into it, if you tune into like that radio station, everything tells you a story. So then when you listen to that story, you're like, do I want to be surrounded by stuff that tells me crappy stories? The stuff that I'm like, yuck, I don't want that, but somebody gave it to me. I have too many Cuisinarts and I never use them. Notice the stories that you tell yourself about the stuff that you have. Okay? Yeah. And Vicky is saying, and here's the overwhelm. Knowing where and how to start is so overwhelming. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. If you choose to be overwhelmed, you can, but I will share with you, okay? And again, Vicky, what I will say is, so 8:45, you're not the first person to think this. That feeling of overwhelm and not knowing where to start with your physical body. How are you feeling physically? If you're not feeling good, what can you do today, right now, to make yourself feel better? I highly recommend stretching, eating something healthy, drinking some water, take a Advil if you've got a headache, whatever it is to make yourself feel better physically and spiritually, energetically, your nervous system. Calming down your nervous system. When you say the word overwhelm, that means your nervous system is not calmed down. It's overwhelmed. It's not calmed down. When you are in a state of overwhelm, you will not do your best work. You won't even do anything because you're going to be stuck, right? So calm down your nervous system by slowing down, sitting down, quieting down, drinking down some water, shoulders down, turning down the volume of the things around you, and feel better energetically. And when you feel better energetically, and sometimes it takes like just a minute, then it doesn't really matter where you start or how you start. And Painting of a Duck is saying, once you start, it's never that bad. Okay? And here's what I want to offer to you to help you with this. Where to start? Pick a card, any card. Pick a cluttered place in your house, a 1 foot square in your house that you would feel better if it wasn't as cluttered as it is now. That's where you start in any room. Start with a 1 foot square in front of you that's cluttered, that you want it to look better. And I highly recommend remembering these 3 layers of clutter: surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter. If you have a hard time getting even started, getting into gear for decluttering, do not start with sentimental and do not start with stored. Those are the things you can that will become easier with you when you get into the habit of even just getting into gear to declutter anything. So start with your surface clutter in one room and pick 1 square foot and start there. How does that sound? Okay? How does that sound? Now, Kat Roby says, I love finding a coupon I kept just in case, and then it's expired because I didn't go shopping. Right. Now, yeah. So Erin says, I have that same coupon clutter. I don't use them, so why do I keep them? All right. Why do you keep them? Now, I keep few coupons, but I intend on using them. And sometimes they're coupons for things that I don't normally buy. Sometimes I don't have them with me when I'm shopping, so I tend to keep my coupons near the little notebook that I write the shopping lists on. I will write down on the shopping list, buy the hot dogs because we have a coupon. But if you notice you don't use coupons, maybe the next time your brain says, save this coupon, you say, no, I don't use them. You know? Oh, Anne says, that's it. You said a thing I needed. It's time for this home to tell my story. Yeah. We don't need to be the keepers of somebody else's stories. How about our stories? What does this house tell me? Is this house telling the story of somebody else? Is this house telling the story of what somebody else wanted me to be versus me? I can easily see how, if I were a slightly different person, how I could see that. I would have decorated this house with stuff that, not the stuff that I liked, but what my parents liked or my husband liked. Luckily, from a very early age, I have had a really strong sense of what I liked visually, and I've never really resonated with more traditional things. That's why this is what my background looks like. I joke, but I'm dead serious when I say that my design inspirations are like part Monkey's Beach House and part Pee-wee's Playhouse and a bit of Allie Willis's Willis Wonderland thrown in, and a dash of Palm Springs. That is not how I grew up. But I knew it was important to me to live in a surroundings that reflected me. And the more I know about myself, the more I know I'm never going to have anything beige in my house, or purple, or blue and white. Those are not me. You know what's me? Is Trina Turk, is Palm Springs, is pops of color, is fun stuff, not serious antiques, right? Now, I've got the power. You get it, Boston sports girl. Yeah. Now, Kat Roby says, this 3-foot square part of the desk without a kitty is looking good. And you did it a little bit at a time. There we go. Good stuff. I love how there's interaction in the comments. I won't read them all because you're all chatting back and forth about some ideas. So feel free, if you're not looking at the comments, to see what other people's doing. Yeah. Nurse Liz is saying, and I'm going to take a look. I love this. Yeah, Rochelle says, I'm working on evicting the stories I don't want anymore. Yeah, and keeping the visual souvenirs and evidence. Because think of the word souvenir, I believe it's from I Remember, the French, right? If you eliminate the visual reminder, it fades out in the distance. So keep the souvenirs of the things you want to remember, but also you don't have to necessarily keep the physical item to keep the memory. You can write down the memory, and the words can also be a powerful way to start playing that video in your head. Now, Nurse Liz says, I have too many clothes. I love that concept of too many. This goes back to where I think of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You have too hot, too cold, and just right. In clutter, a lot of times, many people who came from too little, which I kind of like an empty stomach, lack, and then you've got too much of something. What we're aiming for is just right. So notice that you have a feeling of having too many clothes, and it may be a visual thing too. So the amount of clothes that you have isn't necessarily a specific number. I could not tell you how many pieces of clothes I have in any of my categories, but I can tell you that I think my husband has too many short sleeve button down shirts because I counted them and he has 41 of them. So notice it is a feeling, okay? Notice it is a feeling. I feel like there are too many. Do you wear them all? Are they all comfortable? Are they in regular rotation? Okay. If not, what I highly recommend is under the heading, under the category of clothing, this is how we chunk it down. So one of the chunks is clothing, chunk it down. Categorize, a chunk is a category. So you can carve up that pie in any of those categories in any ways. My nursing clothes, my civilian clothes, my winter clothes, my summer clothes. Within those categories, you may have tops, you may have pants, you may have skirts, you may have dresses, you may have underpants, you may have socks, you may have coats, okay? So notice the things that you're saying. Nurse Liz is saying, I put my faves in my hurricane bag. What are the ones that are not your favorites? What are the ones that are not your favorites? Okay? Why are you hanging? Why is everybody here, I'm not pointing out to Liz. If there's something that's in your wardrobe now and it is not one of your favorites, or it doesn't just serve a useful function of covering your body in a comfortable way, that you feel good, that you don't even notice you're wearing it because it's not bugging you, why are you keeping uncomfortable clothes? What is this is chunking it down again, okay? Yeah, Nurse Liz is already saying, I'm going to donate my not favorites. This is not my favorite. Yeah, okay? So, alrighty, Tanya's saying, I believe I'm coming. Maybe she's coming to the dinner. We've got about 4 minutes left. Tanya, we've got a Destination Decluttered. You're coming to the declutter party. Cool. Buy your ticket and we'll show you up. The tickets are available basically through the first chunk. After that, to me, it's not, you could show up, but yeah, so buy your ticket, show up. I look forward to it. And Tanya's been decluttering clothing herself. We helped her chunk down some of the categories. And here's the beauty, you guys. I am here to always remind you of your power. I am a good listener, and I listen for the categories that organically come up in your brain. Here are the sweaters I need to get dry cleaned. Here are the clothes I need to get repaired. Here are the shoes that I need to bring to the cobbler. Listen to yourself. If you've gotten disconnected from paying attention to yourself, get reconnected. I can help. Okay? So speaking of declutter party, it's happening in like 4 minutes. So I'm gonna have a hard stop, okay? And you can do this. If you're afraid of doing it on your own because you don't know and you've never done it, that's fine. I'm like a tour guide. I'm there with you. I can help you with that. Now with these TikTok lives and stuff, I'm more like, the lady in the front of the bus, and all y'all are on the bus, so we're going to where I want to go to. One-on-one coaching is me right next to you in your car, helping you go wherever you want to go. Okay? So, Anne, I'm so glad that this helped, and Blonde Cheryl. I look forward to anybody showing up to this declutter party. We have 2 more after today. We have 2 more left in June. Next week is already July. We have 1 declutter party this Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern and another one on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm East Coast. What can I say? If you're interested in that, just sign up for the mailing list, the group. Join the group on the mailing list, okay? The declutter party is sign up for the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. Get the automatic email that shows you the secret page, and you buy your ticket right there, okay? Destinationdecluttered.com is the website, okay? And there's a link that says sign up for the mailing list. I've seen a few of you have done that already. Probably be easier as soon as I sign off, so I'm going to sign up in a minute. Okay, yeah, Painting of a Duck says, I wish it was later on the West Coast. Sorry to miss it. Yeah, you know what? I feel bad about that, but I will share Painting of a Duck. Yeah, Declutter Party is showing up on Zoom and decluttering together. It's kind of like a group working session. Okay, now speaking of that, I'm going to honor the people that have signed up for the Declutter Party, and I'm going to sign off now for you guys. Painting of a Duck. There was somebody last night, Christine from California, and she was saying certain times of days and days that would work for her. Shoot me an email. Let me know what will work for you. I might be able to work it into the schedule. Can't hurt, might help, okay? But in the meantime, I'm going to sign off. We have a YouTube Live at 11 a.m. if you want to tune into that. In the meantime, Beth, Destination Decluttered. I hope this helped, and I will see you on the flip side.